All right, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me. We're going to have Ciarra. I'm going to take off my glasses because y'all can see a little bit for the reflection. We're going to have Ciarra joining me. She's on her way to joining us, downloading the app. Y'all know how technology be technologying. And so she has to make sure she can get in. But I don't want guys leave y'all waiting if you're gonna be right on time. So thank you so much for joining me. If you guys happen to be in my live for a couple of days ago, you know I'm in the process of trying to explore what is the best next step for Black and Green. I'm trying to understand what is the actual problem that we are serving or that we are solving, and kind of what do you guys need from us. And so I am all ears to kind of hear that from you all. And I am so happy that I see Ciarra is on the call now. So I'm going to shoot her and add her to the stage. Let me see how this is going to work. All right. Yes, we got to work. Hi, Ciarra.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Ciarra Williams. I'm the owner and founder of The Stories We Tell.
Awesome, 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 wonderful. Let me tell you guys the power of a blind email, okay? Ciarra just sent me a blind cold email. I didn't know Ciarra from anybody at all, but I connected with her and something told me that we need to do something together. So I'm so happy that we're here in this space here, that we made it through the trials and tribulations, the rockiness, and we're here now to talk about healing and empowerment.
Yes, yes. So it's just freezing up a little bit. But yes, you do so many great things in the community and just what you've started. So I thought it would be very empowering for those people that haven't heard about your story to be able to hear the journey you've went through, especially with it being Mental Health Awareness Month. I think that especially as people of color, we don't talk about mental health that so you're very inspirational, and so I feel that it would be really, really great to kind of hear how you got into what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, mental health awareness month, like, it's so important. It's so like timely to have this conversation on that month. In this month, at a time when mental health is not often talked about a lot in the Black community. So I'll explain why I created Black and Green and kind of what my big mission and vision is for it. So, Black and Green, it's a community of Black women who are being very intentional about caring for themselves. Understanding, I kind of think of our tagline as being removing all toxicity from your life, toxic products, toxic thoughts, toxic behaviors, toxic relationships, anything that's toxic in your life, we gonna air all that out. And so Black and Green is a space to kind of help that happen through our podcast, through our blog, through our all natural, non-toxic products that you can buy that were created by another Black woman. We are just trying to create a whole space where we are very focused on our own happiness and our own self-care and making sure that we're good, because the world's not gonna protect us, so we gonna protect us.
Where'd you get the idea from it?
So my background's in public health, and so I read an article that the products marketed to Black people are more toxic than the products marketed to everyone else. So I went my own personal journey to buy more all natural, non-toxic products. And on that journey, the way my personality works is that if I know something, I want all my friends and family to know something too. And so I started telling them, hey guys, don't put this toxic stuff in your body either. And they said, Kristen, our background is not in public health. We aren't going to do all that work that you did. Just let us know what products should be used. I said, okay, got you. So I made a long list, a Google sheet of all the different products I was buying. And I sent that out to my friends and family. They came back to me, Kristen, we're not doing that. We're not going to 100 different websites to buy different products. We're used to going to one place now and buying all our stuff together. We want that kind of experience. I said, okay, cool. So I will create Black and Green to be a marketplace, to be an easy one-stop shop. In that marketplace, I'll also have my blog and my podcast and my social media posting so that way I can create a community, an ecosystem of health and wellness.
Wow, that's amazing. What do you take great pride in?
What do I take great pride in? I take great pride that when I started Black and Green and I was being very intentional about trying to market to Black women, I was told in the beginning that Black women aren't going to do that. They aren't going to spend that more money on products. Like they just aren't going to do it. And so I I didn't get any investors. I don't have any VC fund. It was all like a hope and a dream. And I was often told that Black women wouldn't invest in their own self care and their own wellness. And I take so much pride in the fact that we we show them they're lying. Like we do care. We will do better when we know better. And so
Mm,
Black and Green is trying to be a space to help people know better and do better.
mm. How has the journey been to partner with those different women-owned products and companies? How has that journey been for you?
It journey has been amazing. So I often say Black in 2017, when I started Black and Green, when I was emailing Black women with my idea, I said, hey, I want to start this marketplace. I don't have a huge Instagram following. I didn't have a website. Uh, no one knew what Black and Green was, like, which is emailing people, cold emailing them, same way you did me. Hey, I have this idea. Will you guys be part of it? And they were so supportive. It just talks to the magic of Black women despite the fact I didn't have a huge footprint, despite I didn't have a huge following, I didn't have any of that. But they liked my idea and they were willing to support it to try to make it happen.
That's amazing. What did you do when you encountered, like, have you ever encountered where somebody where it didn't work? And how did you stay motivated? Because I think a lot of people have to understand, like, having a business is already a challenge, but staying focused on that vision no matter what happens. How'd you do that?
I think you have to be really clear on what your vision is and really clear on like what you're doing. So that way when things go wrong, it doesn't throw you off too much. And so I was very clear on what my North Star was. My North Star is to try to get Black women using more all natural, non-toxic products. I wrote my dissertation on health disparities, and I understand that Black folks have worse health outcomes. Even when you can control for age, when you can control for education, control for income, they still have worse health outcomes compared to everyone else. So that was my North Star to try to help. And health disparities is a huge issue. It's very systematic. It's a lot of pieces that play a part of it. But I said, if I can just try to help in one piece of it, that's my main goal. And so having that bright North Star allowed me to make sure that when things go wrong, it didn't distract me too much because I still had my vision. So when the conversation doesn't go the way I want to go, when I hear no, when I ask for something, I don't let that deter me because I still always know my big North Star. And something else I started doing is I would occasionally get nice emails from people like promoting me and saying I'm doing a good job. And I would save those. I would label them in my email. So whenever I was having a down day, when I heard too many no's, when too many folks was throwing too many attitudes at me and I wasn't liking the way things were happening, I would go back and I would read these nice emails, kind of give me encouragement. Okay, Kristen, you in this for the right reason. Okay, Kristen, this is having a positive impact. So that was a way that I built a system to not allow things to throw me off. I built a system so that way when something went wrong, let me go get something good to pour back in me. When I won't let things just keep pulling from me.
Wow, that's powerful. How would you say that it ties into Black and Green ties into mental health? Because I mean, you've kind of already described it before, just the health disparities, not having the resources and being able to get some of those products that are clean. But from your perspective, how does it tie into mental health?
Yeah. Man, that's a really good question. I think that oftentimes, okay, I'm going to take it a couple of steps back here. Oftentimes, we see beauty products and personal care products as a tool to make us look different than what we are, how we're born. And so, a big piece of Black and Green is trying to teach women give them the tools to take care of your hair naturally. You don't have to go get it relaxers. You can learn to love your skin. Take care of your skin. You don't have to try to bleach it. Like, learn to love yourself and be comfortable in your own body. And we're going to give you the tools that you need and the products that you need to do that, to treat your body well. And so we think it's connect. Oftentimes, beauty products are can be problematic in their branding, that they're trying to brand it for you can be something more Western and more Eurocentric than you really want to be, because that's really the big goal. So I think a big part of Black and Green shines like you love yourself. And we're going to give you the tools and the resources so you can love yourself in the way you deserve to be loved. And you won't want a relaxer. You won't want to straighten your hair anymore, because now you are building up this love and joy in yourself. You don't need to look like something else to be happy. I hope that answers your question.
It does. It answered it in the best way possible.
Yes.
I love it. I love your passion. What would you say are your favorite products to use in Black and Green? I'm sure you have tons of products that you love because you're supporting these businesses, but what are your favorite go-tos?
Yes, yes. So let me tell you my way I always answer this question. When you ask a mom who's her favorite kid, she always says, I love all my kids equally. I'm going to give you the same answer, because every single product on Black and Green I have tried and I have loved. So if I don't like it, if I don't love it, if it doesn't work for me, then I don't sell it. Which some
Mm.
people might say that's a bad business model, because I like to use to test everything. But I think it's a great business model that I feel strong enough to stand behind it and strong enough to support it when I know I personally love it. I can't do that if I don't feel that connected to the products. And so everything I personally love and try. And everything from and Black and Green is more than just like beauty products. So yes, we do have shampoos and conditioners and soaps and body butters and body oils, but we also have laundry detergent and then cleaning supplies. The way I like to think of Black and Green is that any product that you can use in your house that can introduce toxins to you into your home, that's where we want to come in. We want to make sure that you are introducing all natural, non-toxic products to make sure you aren't ingesting all these toxins to your body unknowingly.
Mm. Okay. What achievement are you most proud of?
Hmm. I think I'm most proud of the fact that we've had over 100 Black women artisans on Black and Green, that we were able to achieve and support over 100 Black women-owned businesses. It's oftentimes hard for Black women to scale their businesses, to get access to the capital they need, to access traditional wholesaling, and so in at traditional retail places. So they oftentimes don't have the capital to do it. So I'm very proud that we were able to create a system that was low cost, that they can step into without having to spend a single dollar on. And so I'm really proud that we're able to support them, and I can see businesses grow. Business like Black Girl Sunscreen started on me early before they have grown to where they are now. Honey Pot started on me before they grew and sold and no longer is Black owned. So like it's fantastic to see my brands grow and thrive after working with Black and Green.
Wow. And that's amazing too. It tells you with like your purpose and you're just like aligned with what you're supposed to do in this world. And that kind of goes to the next question. What would you say is your unique passion for the world?
Unique passion for this world. I often ask people, what is a change that you want to have in the world? Like, what do you kind of see as the change that you want to have? I think the change I want to be a part of making for people is helping them understand how powerful they are, that
Mm.
everyone is so powerful and you're so powerful that you can do anything you want to do. Like anything, like the power of your thoughts, the power of your behaviors, the power of your brain to open up doors to be exactly what you want it to be. I want more Black women to understand their power and walk boldly and confidently in their power.
Mm. That's powerful. And I feel like you've already really done that. You've laid the foundation. So that's amazing. Just the work that you're doing. And just, I think when you're really considering the generation, like the next generation, and that's when you know you have something. And that's what you're doing. You're inspiring people, you're uplifting them, and you're giving them the space to grow. So yeah, it's amazing. Even thankful for this opportunity to talk with you. Um, if money was not an object in how you spent your time, how would you feel it?
Ooh, if money was not an object and how I spent my time, how would I feel it? I would spend my time, spend a lot of times with my family and with my friends, traveling the world and eating at new restaurants and trying new things. But I want all my friends and family with me. There's a joke my friends always say, I want everyone to live right around me in a circle. I do. I want all y'all to live close so I can just go knock on your door. I I oftentimes I'm jealous, for lack of a better word, of how it was centuries ago when a whole block was a whole family and you can go walk and knock on grandma's house and everyone was right there. I love that community aspect. And so I think I would want to just be around my people because I think that I get filled up so much being around all my friends and family. Just we go out and we go get a coffee and we go get a tea. I need to go do something. You can watch my sons or me and my husband can go do something fun. So as much time as possible that I can spend with people and just trying to encourage them to understand their power.
It's freezing.
Oh, that's what I said. It
Okay.
must be frozen.
It's freezing. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because that's kind of what you've created too. You have that community, and so if you um, had a time machine, what would you tell your younger self? What would you tell the younger Kristen?
Ooh, if I had a time machine, what would I tell my younger self? It don't really matter that much. In a year or two, you gonna forget about this. Calm down.
Mm, mm, okay. And you're a mom, you're a wife. How do you balance it all?
Ask for help. I feel like I had to break that thinking I can do everything by myself and I didn't need no help. And I think that often my generation, we independent black women, we don't need no help. We can do everything by ourselves. Blah blah blah. Nah, girl. I need all the help I can get, and I'm gonna boldly ask for it and not be ashamed of it and ask for help. And it's like I don't need to do everything. I shouldn't do everything. Like that's a bad use of my time. Like if I'm doing everything, no, ask for help and know your strengths. Be so self-aware that you understand your strengths and understand your weaknesses and fall back from your weaknesses and lean into your strengths. One of my weaknesses is cooking. Ain't no good cook. I'm just not. I could learn and get better. I'm sure I could spend time doing it. But my husband is an excellent cook. That's his strength. So, baby, you got it. You got all the cooking. You got all the shopping. Do your thing. Like,
I understand that. When you're talking about mental health, how do you kind of go through your own experience with mental health? What do you do to navigate it when you have your moments? Because everyone has moments
yep,
where they self doubt or
yep.
they need that. What do you do?
I think whenever I'm having it depends why my moment's happening. So something is I have a overarching goal of my life is I want to get 1% better every day. In order for me to get 1% better, I have to be very critical, not critical, I have to be very in tune with how I'm behaving and what can improve. So I have to have that, looking for the exact perfect right word for it. I need to have that look on myself to that critical. I'm going to use the word critical. I have to have that critiquing look on myself to be able to see what needs to get improvement. And I think that understanding what needs to get improvement, when I'm having a bad moment, I ask myself, okay, why? And when I get upset, I say, why am I getting upset? What is bothering me? Then I try to understand what is bothering me. Because I think the more I can understand what's bothering me, the better. Like, and the better it is for me to make me try to address it. I also have this belief that nobody is out in the world to harm me. Nobody is out in the world to harm me. People who harm you are doing it on accident, usually, and hurt people, harm people. So when someone else is hurt, they're likely to hurt you out of their own hurt. So it usually has nothing to do with me. So I am trying to force myself to not take my hurt from people personally, because it usually has nothing to do with me. If I text somebody, they don't text me back, it's easy for me to get mad. Like, oh, I guess they don't like me as a friend. I guess they don't care about me. They didn't want to text me, or they just was busy, or life just happened, or they didn't see it. It might not have had anything to do with you. So I'm trying to check myself on having, I control my thoughts. And so I control if I want to go down negative pathways with things, or I can control if I want to go down positive pathways with things. I try to be intentional to go down the positive pathways instead of going down the negative ones. Because going down the negative ones is easy. It's easy peasy. I think in some ways we even taught to go down the negative pathways. Going down the positive one is a lot harder.
No, you're right. You're right. And you have such a beautiful spirit. How did you get to that point? Because it's really easy, to be like, okay, to think in that way, but like it can't so be like you said, it's harder to think opposite. But like, I don't know, it's really empowering that you even have the mind to think like, okay, you're right. Most of the time when people are deflecting or doing what they're doing, it has nothing to do with you. How did you get to that point to realizing that? Because that's really hard sometimes, because
Yes,
you know.
it could be so hard to realize it. I think it's like it could be freeing too. Once you take a step back and be like, at the end of the day, I'm one little small ant in this world that I'm gonna live and I'm gonna die. That's about it. My little small ant
Mm,
is probably not impacting someone else's ant that much. And so for me to always read myself into that narrative is like false. It's not it. I control my own experience and my own life. Like, it's me. If I want to be
yeah.
happy, I'm going to be happy. If I want to be miserable, I'm going to be miserable. Yes, life happens to everybody. Ain't a person in this world where life hasn't happened to. It depends what that life thing is. It could be a health thing. It could be someone in your family passing away thing. It can be someone mistreated you thing. We all have trials and tribulations, but everyone has trials and tribulations. Like, you aren't unique in your problems. You aren't unique in your, everyone has something. Even the people that you don't think they have something, they have something too. Like, they all have something. If you guys are in the chat, like, and you go write in the comments, what are some of the things that y'all are trying to work through? Like, let us know. What are some of the things that you guys are trying to work through? Because we all have something. I'll tell you some of my things. I got divorced when I was probably married for 2 years. Then I got divorced. So that was a whole thing I had to work through. What is that? What does that mean to get divorced? I'm giving up. How does that look for me? I'm look like I'm quitting. All that internal mental work I had to fight myself through. I was in a car accident in 2019. My whole family, we were in a car. I went in coma. I went in a coma for about 45 days. I was in the hospital for about 4 or 5 months, and I had to relearn everything again. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to talk again. I had to learn to do everything again. And so that's the thing. We all have things, and you have a choice. Are you gonna let that thing stop you? Are you gonna let that thing teach you? And are you gonna grow from it? So I have a mindset that we all have things, and I see things from God to teach me lessons. So what's the lesson I'm supposed to learn from this? Maybe the lesson God was trying to teach me is, Kristen, slow down. Slow
Mm,
down. You're trying to move too fast. If you won't slow down on your own, I'll knock you in a coma. Maybe that will work. Like, slow down. So I think God gonna teach us a lesson one way or the other. Either you learn it. If you don't learn it good, if you don't learn it quick enough, he'll teach it to you, or God will teach it to you. I try not to use him and she pronouns. God will teach you. God will teach you the whatever lesson
mm,
you learn. And so that's a mindset I've adopted. That I always look at anything that goes wrong in my life. I don't get bogged down in the thing that went wrong. I start to think, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? What can I pull from this? How can I get better from this? How can this help me with my 1% get better every day? What can I learn from this? Like, just talk through a problem. I would love to talk through a problem. If you got a problem that you want to talk through, like that, I think that's fun.
That's
You have
beautiful.
a problem? Do you have a problem that you're working through that we can talk through live? Can you think of anything?
What'd you say? I'm sorry, it was
I said,
breaking up.
I said, can you think of a problem that you're dealing with right now that you're trying to wrestle with that we can talk through live and trying to figure out what the lesson is that's trying to teach you?
Um, hmm. I'm trying to think. I say like previous, like when we talked before, um, when we were just trying to find like the time to get this going. You're right, and just kind of taking a breather and just
Yep.
taking the time to like slow down, because a
Yeah.
lot of the time when you're like owning a business or you have multiple hats that you're
Yes.
doing, you feel like overwhelmed at times, especially, having many titles and
Yep.
being a one show, you know that too, doing pretty much most of the things on your own. But I do think in that moment when we had our conversation, like you said, sometimes it's just taking a breather, because you
Mhm.
feel like you have to get everything done really, really quickly by a certain time, and it will all work out if you have the mindset. So
Yes.
just listening to you, I feel like it's about the mindset shift. But you have to practice that. It's almost like a muscle. You have to
Yeah.
practice that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it. I think that's beautiful. It's like a muscle. You have to practice it, and it's hard to jump to something really profound if you haven't built up the muscle yet. So start with smaller things, like as little small things happen differently than what your plan is. Try to see how you wiggle with them. Try to start seeing them through the lens. Like, was this what? Okay, this didn't go right, probably for this reason. So I'll give you like a little small example. When you miss a flight, it's easier to say, "Ah, oh, gosh, I missed my flight." Blah blah blah. Negativity, negativity, negativity. Or you can say, "Oh man, there's something probably bad happened on that flight. I'm glad I missed it, so I can. I was protected." Mindset
Mm,
shift. You can just change.
yeah.
You can see everything, whether good or bad, as it's something for your good. You can choose to always see things for your good.
You're right. You're right. I kind of went through that too recently, like with a friendship of just
Yep.
like the season changing. And so, like in the past, I'd be like upset, like, okay, we're not talking. But now, like you said, I think that God brings people and, places in your life at the right time, even listening to you, learning that things happen for a reason.
Yep.
And just because I heard something on social media that said just because you have no are no longer friends with someone, it doesn't mean that it's for a bad reason. Like,
Yes.
y'all just may not be on the same path right now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
God will move you in different directions. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
that's something recently, like one of my best friends, we've been best friends for like 10 years. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just think we're both going in different directions, and there's no like bad blood or anything, but
Yep.
she's on something else and I'm on to a different chapter.
Yep.
But
Yep.
if
Yep.
you have, yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting this the story about friendship. I've been reading a book about friendship now, and so I've been doing a lot of thought about friendship and the role of friendship and how friendship and the centuries have changed and how friends used to operate in people's lives is changing now with this with the dating and the husband and when people get married they let go of their friends and people don't really invest in friends. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about friendship. But I have a really close friend that we've been close since third grade, and we have kind of pulled apart at the same way. But I still want her in my life, right? And so I still want her in my life. And so what I have mentally decided to do, I said, I'm going to make sure you always know my arms are open. I'm not mad at you. I you do what you need to do. You take the time you need to take, but all my arms are gonna always be open. And when you're ready to come back, I want you to know I'm gonna welcome you back. So I do things in conscientiously, intentionally to let her know my arms are always open. Every week I send her a meme. Like, hey, here's a little funny meme. She may or may not respond, but I don't care because my goal is to let her know I'm gonna always be here. When I go to yoga, I think of her. I send her a little message. Am I waiting for a response? I may or may not get it, but I want her to know I will always be there. So my kind of thought is like I want to operate in a way that feels good to me, I can't let how they take or receive that change how I'm going to behave. Like I behave how Kristen behaves because how Kristen wants. What you do is on yours. But I want you to know that my arms are always open. I don't want you to tell yourself this narrative that she mad at me. She don't like me no more. No. But baby girl, I text you once a week. I'm not mad at you.
Mm. And that takes it off for you because you know that whatever is going, she may be going through something,
Exactly.
but
And she likely is. She likely is. Like
yeah,
I think that we humans like to put ourselves in everyone else's narratives when
mhm.
we aren't usually in them. Like we like to say, someone treat me this way because they don't like me. Girl, they're not thinking about you. They're,
Yeah.
they're going through some trauma in their life. It got nothing to do with you. Why do you always read your stuff into things that have nothing to do with you? Like nothing.
You know what I learned too? Like a lot of people don't realize like your responses to things are your trauma. So like them saying like, hey, well, they don't like me because of this, and that. That's their trauma. Like I had
Mhm.
to navigate that because like I've had the wanting to be accepted. And
Mhm.
so I think a lot of us go through that. We don't always talk about it, but like just wanting to be accepted. So then you put up those negative
Mhm.
thoughts of like, well, they don't like me because this, and that.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
like you said, a lot of times when people are responding,
Yep.
it's about them. It has
Yes.
nothing to do with you.
Nothing. Nothing to do with you. And like, and when and people often are acting out of their own trauma. So they're acting out of their own trauma, hurting you out of
Yeah.
their own trauma. And it's easy to say, oh, well, you hurt me, so bye. It's easy to say that. But is that true to how you want to behave? Is that true to
Mm,
how you want to behave? So if it's not true to you, then always act like you. Don't let their trauma throw you off.
mm. And I love that because it shows the consistency of your character. Like I'm
Yep.
always gonna show up as me, when you have bad days. And it shows the person too if they have that wall up that, like you
Yep.
said, when you're ready, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we need that from more people. So that's amazing that you've been able to navigate through those seasons and realize like, hey, I'm gonna stay who I am, regardless of how
Yep.
other people
Yep.
show up.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
still
And
consistent.
but that goes all back to the root. But you have to know who you are. Because once you know who you
Mm,
are, that's easy. I think it's
yeah.
harder when you don't know who you are. You don't know what you believe. You don't know what you stand on. You're taking too much stuff from other people to kind of guide you and guide your direction. So that can be overwhelming. Once you get very clear on who you are, whether that's I know for me to get clear on who I was, that was me going to yoga, that was me going to therapy, that was me being really intent and talking through my things to be very clear about what makes me happy. And a game I love to play is called the why game. Well, what do you want to do? Well, why do you want to do that? 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 When you get down to the bottom of the last why, like you get to, okay, that's who I am. I want to do that because I want to help people. So who I am is I like to help people. That's back to my why. So understand your why.
That's empowering. It's so empowering. um, to close out, well, two more things. What are your favorite? So you mentioned, what are your favorite like self-care practices? You mentioned yoga. Are there other things that you're interested in to kind of help tune into yourself?
Yeah. Yoga is a big one for me. Going on walks is a big one for me. I love being outside. And so I think the outside air can be so healing. So something my mom does, I'm at her house now and I'm going to pick up practice that she's doing. I see her always walking around, open up the window. I said, ooh, I should start doing that more. I very rarely open my windows that frequently, but she always is opening up her windows. And so I like that. It kind of lets the fresh air in and like can bring take away that toxicity. Like it just helps to like keep it nice and clear. So I love going outside. I love working out. So when I feel very tense, I go to the gym and just run it all off, like a just run it all away. So I love to work out. That's another self-care thing for me. Another thing I learned is meditation is hard for me. But I'm listening to guided meditations. So guided meditations are easier than me trying to meditate on my own. Um, Something else I do is a thankful prayer. So it's a new practice I learned a couple of years ago where I give thanks and gratitude for things that have not happened in my life yet. So I'm saying I'm saying thank you, and like with a faith that I know it's going to happen. So thank you, God, so much for this and this and this and this, and that puts me in a gratitude, gracious mindset.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That's
Mhm.
amazing. Um, what would you say that, you have your family, you have your husband, and you have your son to close? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Hmm. What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful question. I never have been asked what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind. I often think of back. I'm going to think to my grandmother that she was a moving force in the civil rights era, where she worked tirelessly to get a school uh, integrated, and so like that was a lot of the work that she did. And I think the legacy that she wants to leave behind is that they can't tell us what's not for us. Like we can go get what's for us. Like they can't create those rules. And so it's kind of this legacy of like they don't make the rules for us. We decide what our rules are. And we're going to fight hard to change any laws or regulations that are counter to us making sure that we get what we need to get. And so I think that's a legacy I want to leave behind, is that once you think through something and you understand what kind of impact you want to have in the world, you have the power to do it. I have worked in a way to try to make things better for other people. And like I have worked in my power, like because when something didn't seem right, I try to twist it, but I try to impact it. That's the kind of legacy I want to continue to walk in. When something doesn't seem right, that we try to change it for the better. That was a long way of me answering your question, but I got there eventually.
No, it was beautiful. It goes into your character, and I just want to say again that you are such a force. You're very inspirational. Thank you for the work that you're doing, for allowing us to have the resources that we need to have clean, safe ingredients, and allowing us the space to learn and grow. So I just appreciate you, this opportunity, your time, and I thank you so much for this conversation.
No, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sending me a cold email, and thank you that even though a couple times we connected, it wasn't smooth, we didn't let that stop us, and we still here, and we still got this done.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll talk soon. All
All right, bye.
right, bye bye.